Hi everyone, and welcome to another Tide Guy video. I would first like to have everybody please, when you watch this video, hit the like button. That way it hits the algorithm and more people can watch this video. And also, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. Today's video is going to be about the Power 5 national champions. How many different teams in each conference have national champions, and the total amount of champions in each conference. Now we're going to start out with teams that actually won the championship when they were actually in the conference. So when we go with the SEC, obviously you're going to have Bama, you're going to have Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, LSU, and Auburn. They all won national championships while playing in the SEC. We'll go over to the Big Ten. The Big Ten actually had Michigan and Ohio State in the last 50 years win national championships. You go to the ACC has had Clemson, Georgia Tech, and Florida State win national championships. The Big 12 had Oklahoma, Colorado, Nebraska, and Texas win national championships. And the Pac-12 has had USC and Washington. Now, once the college expansions all take place, and some of the expansion has already happened, like Penn State's already moved over to the Big Ten, and Colorado has already moved over to the Pac-12. So let's see currently how many national championships are in each conference. Right now, the SEC, when they add Texas and Oklahoma, we're going to have a 16-team conference, and 8 of the teams have actually won national championships in the last 50 years. You got Bama with 10, you got Georgia with 2, Florida 2, Tennessee 1, LSU 3, Auburn 1, Texas 1, and Oklahoma 3. So that gives the SEC 23 national championships in the last 50 years. That's almost a 50% rate. Now the Big Ten, they've added Penn State and Nebraska, and now USC's coming over. Michigan has their 1 national championship. Ohio State has 2. Penn State has 2. Nebraska has 3, and USC has 5, for a total of 13. So that's not bad. 13 championships in 50 years. That's still over a 20% margin. The one that kind of surprised me was the ACC. The ACC has Clemson with 3, Georgia Tech with 1, Florida State with 3. Now, they also have added Miami and Pitt. Miami had won 5 national championships. Pitt, they're 1. So that's 13 national championships in 50 years, just like the Big Ten. The Big 12, unfortunately, losing Oklahoma, losing Colorado, losing Nebraska, and Texas, that leaves them with BYU coming in with only 1 national championship. So in 50 years, when the alignment is all done, the Big 12 is looking at having 1 team with the national championship to brag about. That's not great. Now the Pac-12 losing USC, that's going to hurt them. As they're only going to have Washington and they're going to have Colorado. Each of them have won 1 national championship, so that gives them 2. So if you rank them on national championships, obviously the SEC is way out in front with 23. Then you're going to have the Big Ten and the ACC, each with 13. And it's kind of funny, they each have 5 different teams who have won also. So that's a little bit of parity. That's, about 1/3 of their conference in the Big Ten, and because they're going to be at 16. The ACC technically only has 14 teams, so they're a little bit better than 1/3 of their teams have won a national championship. The Big 12 has 12 teams, and they only have 1 national championship. And then the Pac-12 will be at 10 teams for right now, and they'll have 2. So I do believe that the ACC is definitely the number 3 league. Just when you look at, what they've accomplished over the last 50 years. Unfortunately, the Big 12, hey, they were doing awesome when they were together. But once they lost Oklahoma, Texas, Nebraska, and Colorado, especially Nebraska, Oklahoma, and Colorado, because that's where, the old Big 8 teams, that's where their power was. And unfortunately, little by little, it's kind of corroded. Colorado left, and then Nebraska left, and then Colorado was during the same time, but Nebraska was out the door first. or at least they announced it first. And since then, the Big 12 has just slowly bled. Now, I know a lot of you are going to say, well, since Nebraska and Colorado left, we picked up a couple teams. And now that Oklahoma and Texas left, we picked up 4 more teams. And we're a 12, and the Pac-10 is only 12 is only 10. And so, we're better. Well, numbers don't lie, and you're really not that much better. In fact, the Pac-12 has more national championships, has 2 teams instead of just 1. And I do think when it's all said and done, though, unfortunately, I don't see both of those conferences making it. Unless the Big 12 somehow gobbles up the ACC teams that the Big 10 and the SEC don't want, I think we're just all going for a participation trophy, unfortunately, with the last 3. Now, in my comments, please leave me where you think I was wrong. Tell me why the Big 12 is better than the Pac-12 if you're a Big 12 fan. Tell me, do you think the ACC and the Big 10, each with 13 championships, each with 5 different teams, they're pretty much kind of even. Miami has 5, USC has 5, so at least in the 50 years. Now you go back further, and obviously USC is going to kill Miami, but for just the last 50 years, there really is not a lot of separation from the Big 10 to the ACC. Maybe I'll do a video on Heisman's and stuff like that, which will give you other reasons why one school is more powerful than another. There you're going to see USC excel. The one team that is not included in any of this is Notre Dame. Now, Notre Dame has a few national championships. Unfortunately, they're independent, so I didn't count them with any league, obviously. And let me know in the comments where you think Notre Dame would truly fit. I know they got a lot of history with the Big Ten. I know that everybody's going to say, well, they're in with the ACC and they're locked in. Well, things can change. Where would you like to see Notre Dame end up? And as always, everybody, have a great day and roll Tide.